Hello, and welcome to my Succession Wizard PVE combo half guide. The reason that this half guide is being made again is because I'm more familiar with Wizzy Succession now, and this half guide will be slightly better than my last half guide. So anyways, I'm going to start with going over burst damage combos, and then finish with going over sustain damage combos. So for the burst damage combo, generally how you go about doing it is as the mob are approaching, you use your earthquake and all, maybe equilibrium, and you want to use your voltaic as the last skill before you position, and the reason it's the last is it does the evasion debuff and you want to make sure that hits everything. So voltaic, position, fire sequence, followed by lightning sequence, and that should be good to go. Now the reason I'll generally open with fire is fire has the nicest 10% casting speed add-on. And I know I don't use the 25%, the 25 PVE damage, I wish 25%, and the reason for that is the 25 overwrites the 20, but the 20 does not refresh or overwrite the 25. And I end up with too much downtime, with none even, or during my sustained damage combo. So anyways, again, position, fire sequence, lightning sequence. And remember that after you position, you can buffer the input of S, L, and B for Fireball without having to do the RMB. You just quick cast it if you buffer the input, which you can do after any skill. It's, I guess, a cancel. So now let me actually demonstrate this, because why not? Is there anything else? Oh, yes. After you do your lightning storm, if you choose to open with lightning, this is very important. Certain skills have longer delays than others after the second hit of lightning storm. So watch this. Lightning storm 1, lightning storm 2. Even if I buffer the input of multi-air, there's a pretty long delay. Now contrast that with the delay. I'll show you the multi-air one more time. And that was with buffered input, so it means it's casting as soon as possible. Now, contrast that with the delay before Fireball. You save maybe half of a second or so. So it's very important to choose the correct skill after your lightning storm, which is why you saw when I did, after the fire sequence, some filler skills, assuming things aren't dead yet, you want to not just go straight into multi-air, but instead do a Fireball beforehand. And it doesn't have to be Fireball, there are lots of skills that do that. Your Awakened ones do that, your Meteor does that, but yeah, some do, some don't. So burst damage combo. Now, this is also very, 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 very important. Even if you generally like to open with Fireball, do keep in mind that there are some cases where that will not be best because of the shape of your AoEs. For example, in history, a lot of times my pulls are a bit spread out. I may have Mabu here, 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 and here. And when I position, I don't want my Fireball and Explosion only hitting the ones in the back. So I will use the much larger residual lightning and then the 2-hit lightning storm that I can target each hit of separately. That is extremely important to think of. That just because you like one style of the burst combo doesn't mean that it will always be superior. If I have a super tightly packed pack, I will usually use fire, and if I have a looser one, I will usually use lightning. Now, for the sustain damage combo. For sustain, I generally will not open with fire because of the gigantic cooldown on fireball explosion. Yep, a bit of a problem. So for the sustain, I could not talk today. It looks something about like this. Lightning sequence, fire sequence, multi-arrows, followed by these skills, a little bit of downtime, followed by multi-arrow, and then you repeat the lightning sequence into fire sequence, into multi-arrow, into these skills, and I have my frigid fog now, so less downtime, still a bit though, into your lightning sequence, into your fire sequence, into your multi-arrow, and you can pretty much continue this indefinitely. And if you see, the reason I'm using my fireballs before the multi-arrow is because it's not off cooldown yet, and I like to keep the nice add-ons up. So again, as they're approaching, you use the typical skills. Lightning sequence, fire sequence, multi-arrow, awakening skills, frigid, fireball, multi-arrow, and then repeat. And the goal of the sustained damage combo is you want to use the skills that do the most sustained damage per time on target in between your gigantic damage skills of your lightning and fire sequences. And multi-arrow is very nice for that, and just spamming your other skills are nice. Now, I didn't include meteor and all, and of course you should if its cooldown is ready. I just didn't because, well, the cooldown's not always ready. So if you want to optimize it for something like that, it would be best to use here. I'm out of mana, almost. Like that. My mana doesn't want to be nice to me today. Because I'm used to having absorb and stuff. So now, an example of where the sustain is nice is let me get as many Mabu as possible. So of course I can't burst these ones down. And I'm doing a slightly different version. It doesn't have to be, it's not like a super structured thing. Again, it's very situational, and what you use will depend on a variety of factors. Just make sure it's not the same structured combo every time, because the same conditions are not present every time. I guess I should just grind a bit with it normally. I will do one normal loop because when I think about what I should say, then I'll always mess it up. So I'm just going to grind a normal sort of loop showing the combos. And if I missed anything, I will be able to say it, because I probably did miss something. And I don't really want to remake the entire thing. I already had to restart it because I forgot to put my key input on. And I'm guessing in a tutorial video, people like key input. See how nice it is? when you have skills like this, and you can just kind of cast and cast. This is a pretty small pack, so it's probably going to be a bit more bursty. And this next one is a very large pack, so it's going to be more sustainy. And this one's a medium pack, so I guess I'll do a weird mix of both. I should probably consider the meteor one the special case, or the special case burst, where I don't know, I'm sure you can figure it out. Of course, if we go through every single possible scenario, we would just be here forever. And guides aren't supposed to be long. This one's probably already too long. I don't know why I didn't stop it. I guess I'm just grinding now. And that should be a different video, so goodbye. I hope that was informative.